There are machines built to serve you. And then, there are machines built to remind you that you are alive. You don't find this machine in brochures, you don't find it in showrooms, you find it on the edge of a mountain road at the moment your courage runs out, and it does not. Somewhere between Mandello del Lario and the edges of your own limits. A name was forged in iron and legend, the oldest European motorcycle manufacturer still producing under the same name. Over a century of thunder, passion, and Italian blood. We are talking about the beast they almost kept secret in 1921. Italy is still bleeding from the Great War. Two men, Giorgio Parodi and Carlo Guzzi, make a vow. They will build motorcycles, not ordinary ones, extraordinary ones. Their factory would be built on the shores of Lake Como. Every Moto Guzzi ever made from 1921 to this very day has been built in Mandello del Lario. The same town, the same lake, the same wind. For 7 decades, Moto Guzzi defined what Italian motorcycling meant to the world. They raced and won at the Isle of Man. They powered the Polizia Italiana. They appeared in films, myths, and the dreams of a generation. But by the 1990s, the world had changed. Sport bikes were getting faster, lighter, more digital. The year was 1990. Napa Caverick inside the Mandello factory behind closed doors. A project was taking shape that would shake the world of sport touring motorcycles forever. 10 cylinders, not in a row, not in a V configuration you have seen before. Each pair of cylinders splayed at 90 degrees to the other, creating perfect primary balance and a sound unlike anything else on Earth. At idle, the Centauro murmurs a low, rolling thunder that you feel in your chest before you hear it in your ears. Not a sport bike, not a cruiser, not a tourer, something else entirely, something the Italians call bella figura, beautiful presence, the way a suit fits a man who was born to wear it. The standard Centauro was already remarkable, but the special that was something else. A limited edition statement that Moto Guzzi was done whispering. Every Moto Guzzi with a big V-twin runs a shaft drive, and the Centauro is no exception, but let us be clear, this is not a compromise. This is philosophy. No chain to adjust, no belt to replace. Just a sealed steel shaft running the spine of the machine from gearbox to rear wheel, maintenance intervals measured in years, reliability measured in decades. The engineers in Mandello called it the backbone. And like all great backbones, it is invisible until the moment everything depends on it. There is a moment between the key turn and the throttle blip where the engine seems to consider you, to decide whether you're worthy. And then, when it does fire, you understand immediately that something profound has just happened on the autostrada. The Centauro finds its natural element, not the frantic urban scramble of a supersport machine, but the sustained, purposeful march of a machine that understands distance. At 1330 kilometers per hour, the engine is barely breathing. The shaft drive hums. The ergonomics, upright and wide, allow your shoulders to relax. Your eyes can look up. You can actually see the road ahead. And then, just to remind you what hides beneath your right hand, you open the throttle. They say Passo dello Stelvio, the Stelvio Pass, is where motorcycles reveal their true character. At 2757 meters above sea level, there is no hiding. The air is thinner, the drops are steeper, the corners are tighter than your pride will allow you to admit. And here's where the Centauro surprises you. Because at these altitudes, on these roads, a V10 Sport Tourer has no right to feel this agile. There is a particular kind of riding that only happens at night, when the thermal crowds have gone home, when the road belongs only to you and the machine. The V10 Centauro at night is a different animal. The exhaust note sings deeper. The headlights, twin beams cutting ahead, feel like the eyes of something ancient and aware. You don't ride into the darkness on a Centauro, you illuminate it. Ask an engineer why Moto Guzzi chose a 90-degree V angle for their engines, and you will get a dissertation. Allow us to condense it. At 90 degrees, the firing intervals are perfectly even, 290 degrees and 405 degrees of crankshaft rotation respectively. This means no primary imbalance. No vibration at idle, just a clean, mechanical pulse that you feel rather than fight. Multiply that across 10 cylinders, 5 banks of 2, and you have something that defies conventional analysis. The V10 Centauro does not vibrate at idle, it breathes. Every major Japanese manufacturer of the era mounted their engines transversely, cylinders pointing side to side, crankshaft running across the chassis. It's compact, it's efficient, it's invisible. Moto Guzzi disagreed. The V10 Centauro mounts its engine longitudinally, crankshaft running fore to aft, cylinders flanking the frame left and right. In an era when most sport touring motorcycles still relied on carburetors, Moto Guzzi equipped the Centauro with dual Weber Marelli electronic fuel injection. At the time, this was not common, this was not expected, this was extraordinary. The system mapped throttle position, engine temperature, atmospheric pressure, and engine speed, thousands of calculations per second to deliver precise fuel charge to each injector. At altitude, at sea level, in summer heat and alpine cold. The result, throttle response that other manufacturers would not achieve for another decade. Crisp, linear, honest, Marzocchi. Even the name sounds like precision engineering. The 41mm telescopic forks from Bologna are set up for the Centauro's weight and character, firm enough for sport riding, supple enough for Italian cobblestones. At the rear, a Sachs monoshock adjustable for preload matches the front's composure. Together they create a suspension package that would not embarrass a purpose-built sport bike. On a machine weighing 238 kilograms, the suspension engineers had one directive: make the rider forget the weight. They will tell you the V10 Centauro is impractical, too heavy, too thirsty, too stubborn in traffic, not as fast as a Fireblade, not as comfortable as a Gold Wing. They are right about all of it, and they have missed the point entirely. If this machine stirred something in you, if the sound of a V10 at full song is now living rent-free in your head, then you already know what to do. Subscribe for more stories like this, for more machines that matter, for more adrenaline-packed journeys into the heart of motorcycle history.